guiding light through times of trouble, confusion, murkiness, tumult, chaos, lies, distortions, and even the good times. We're here at the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. Okay, it is required that we talk about this hurricane. And I'm going to walk you through Saturday, keeping in mind I pay close attention, as does everybody who lives here. We were never originally targeted by the eye of this hurricane, but we were going to be close enough to it that we did have to consider whether or not to decamp to be able to do the program today. Would there be power failures? Would there be loss of satellite uplinks? And so we're making it impossible to do the program. So we pay close to, and I do anyway, whether or not to put up the hurricane shutters, what steps to take to protect the property, all these things. So I'm eagle-eyeing this thing. And I'm not just like everybody else does here, too. I'm not just paying attention to whatever the Hurricane Center says. I try to get hold of as much data as I can. With the Internet, there's a plethora of it. The model runs, for example. Other analysts, besides those at the Hurricane Center, trying to tell you what they think might happen, because nobody knows. There's worlds of data, trend lines, this kind of thing can show you the likelihood where it's going to end up 6 hours from now, 12 hours, 24, 48, but nobody really knows. So you eagle eye it. And on, I can see maybe Friday night. Let's move to Saturday, because that's when this really all started happening. And keep in mind, the reason I'm taking you through this is because the media is now out there saying that Hurricane Katrina is now hanging like a pall over the Republican convention in Tampa. So this whole thing has been politicized, as the Democrats politicize everything, and that's why we are talking about it. Now, all last week, I want to remind you, all last week, and no, at no time here am I alleging a conspiracy. At no time. And with none of this am I alleging conspiracy. All last week, what was the target? Tampa. What was going on in Tampa this week? Republican National Convention. Pretty important one, too. Introducing the nominee, Mitt Romney. It's only after the convention that Romney can actually start spending all of this money that he's raised. So this convention is very important. It's a chance to introduce Romney to a lot of people who don't know him yet. And I noticed that the Hurricane Center's track, and the Hurricane Center is, and I'm not alleging conspiracies here, the Hurricane Center is the regime. The Hurricane Center is the Commerce Department. It's the government. It's Obama. And I'm noticing that that track stays zeroed in on Tampa day after day after day. And the Republicans react to it accordingly. Over the weekend, canceling the first day of the convention. What could be better for the Democrats than the Republicans that cancel a day of this? Even though the media wasn't going to televise a lot of it anyway, they can't televise it if it isn't happening. And the GOP brain trust decides, well, you know what? Looking at this forecast track, we don't want to have this thing on Monday. You get delegates flying into town. The airport may be closed. Too dangerous. We don't want people put at risk trying to get there, so we'll shut it down. We'll gavel it to order on Monday. We'll do 10 minutes worth of pro forma stuff, but we actually won't do anything seriously till Tuesday. And they made this announcement Saturday or Sunday. I forget which day. Now, Saturday night, all day Saturday, I'm looking the model runs. And the model runs come out every 3 to 5 hours, depending on which model. 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 8 p.m. And at 8 p.m. Saturday night, I see one of the biggest, one of the largest shifts in model forecast I have seen since 1997, when I moved down here and started caring about this stuff and started studying it. Up until Saturday night's 8 p.m. model runs, this hurricane was going to either hit Pensacola or someplace a little further south, never Tampa. They had moved it away from Tampa by Friday, but they had hit the Florida Panhandle, but close enough to Tampa, and the primary wind field is on the right side of this thing, so even if it's 50 miles offshore, there's still, or 25, the bulk of the wind is right there over Tampa. Don't need a direct hit, in other words. So Pensacola, Saturday at 5 o'clock, Pensacola. Every model agrees. 8 o'clock, I look at the model runs. Folks, only one of them out of about 12, 15 models, only one of them still had it going to Pensacola. Every model had it at 8 o'clock Saturday night at either New Orleans or Mobile, Alabama, or something in Mississippi. I looked at that. That is a huge spread. That is a huge change in a 3-hour period for the models to move hundreds of miles. And not once in all the model runs of the days prior had New Orleans been in the picture. Maybe a stray model had it going there, maybe a stray model or two over to the Houston area, but outliers. Nowhere near the model consensus. Model consensus was always Pensacola or someplace in the Florida Panhandle, affectionately known here as the Redneck Riviera. Until 8 o'clock Saturday night. 8 o'clock Saturday night, Tampa wasn't even in the picture anymore. There wasn't a curve to the north or even back to the northeast. This was a beeline. It's going to follow the coast of Cuba right up to New Orleans. Every model. So I started sending out emails to people, politically flavored emails. I said, uh-oh, folks, I've been worried about this. I have been concerned. Every model now says New Orleans. And the next hurricane report would be at 11 p.m., 3 hours later, Saturday night. Let's see what they do with it. Let's see what the Hurricane Center does, because this is a huge shift. At 11 o'clock Saturday night, the Hurricane Center had not changed. It was still Pensacola, maybe a little left of Pensacola. So I read the discussion, which is where they tell you how they arrived at their forecast track and other data. And they acknowledged that the model data had moved precipitously to the west. But for the purposes of continuity with the previous forecast, and that's almost a quote, for the purposes of continuity with the previous forecast, they're going to leave the track unchanged. And I said, okay, well, again, I'm alleging no conspiracy. I don't want anybody thinking I'm going somewhere with it. I'm just telling you what happened, and I'm sharing with you my thought process. Because I know full well that if you give these people the slightest chance, and they're going to turn this into Katrina, and they're going to scare the hell out of New Orleans, and they're going to revive Bush doesn't care about people, and Bush isn't going to revive all of it. They're going to politicize everything because they do it. And now they had the model runs allowing them to do it. Now they had these model runs allowing them to start scaring the hell out of people in New Orleans and make political connections to Bush. It was all there. The Republicans had not canceled Monday yet, I don't believe. Find out for me when they officially canceled Monday. My thinking is it's Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, but they could have done it Saturday night. I don't want to be wrong about that or anything else. So I went to bed Saturday night. Okay, let's see what they do at the 5 a.m. Hurricane Center track on Sunday. I got up Sunday morning. I had my iPhone set on the track. All I had to do was get up and hit reload. And lo and behold, I guess they figured out that they didn't need the continuity with the previous track, because now the official Hurricane Center track on Sunday morning at 5 o'clock was anywhere from New Orleans to Biloxi to Mobile, Alabama, but clearly nowhere near Pensacola anymore. And with each Hurricane Center track since 5 a.m. Sunday, it's inched closer and closer to New Orleans. Now, I've continued to watch the models. The models are now, many of them, west of New Orleans. They're not dead center New Orleans. They keep moving west. The forecast track, National Hurricane Center, is right at New Orleans. And let's go to, in the meantime, the Republicans cancel the first day of the convention. Today, it isn't happening. And there's nothing going on in Tampa. There's no reason not to do anything in Tampa today. They're probably getting weather not as bad as we had on Sunday. And it was cool. We made a decision not to leave. I didn't fly the airplane out. Kept everything here. Knew it was going to be okay. I wanted to live through it. It was going to be cool. Big storms. We got prepared for it. Lots of rain and wind. The wind never got on the beach. Never got any higher 35 or 40 miles an hour. I had to take dogs out. Corson went out. I'm not a wuss. Of course I went out there. Well, damn straight to take the dogs out. What are you gonna do? Just say, oh, here, dogs use the garage? No, the dogs went out there. Then the towels came in. Yeah, it was cool. Anyway, let's go to the audio sound. Last night on NBC Nightly News, the anchor Lester Holt is speaking with the chief White House correspondent F. Chuck Todd about Tropical Storm Isaac and the Republican convention. And Lester Holt said, F. Chuck, you have this storm churning offshore. May not be a big deal in Tampa now, but is there some concern about the tone of the convention if we are seeing communities along the Gulf Coast suffering some heavy damage? Now, why would that have anything to do with the Republican convention? In the real world, why would a hurricane striking anywhere in the Gulf have anything to do with the Republican convention? With the tone of the Republican convention. You realize how loaded that question is? Or you go to the NBC Wall Street Journal poll, he cares about you. Obama plus 22. So, Republicans are cold, heartless, mean-spirited. They kill guys' wives, and they don't care about it. Meanwhile, while all this is being alleged about the Republicans, what do they say? Obama's one of the nicest guys in the world. He's just incompetent. And so now the Republicans cancel their first day, and still we get a news story on how the pall of Hurricane Katrina hangs as a tone over the Republican convention. And here's what F. Chuck Todd said.
There are folks with the Romney campaign who think, boy, Romney can't catch a break. Ever since he named Paul Ryan, got a little bit of momentum after the Ryan pick, and then he's disrupted by two storms. One, a political storm in Todd Aiken, which we just brought up, but now an actual storm. And when you think as this storm moves to and closer to Louisiana, the specter, the sort of shadow of Bush and Katrina does hang over this convention. It is something organizers are concerned about. And don't be surprised if Tuesday gets changed again, basically out of sensitivity.
Okay, so the move is on now to force the Republicans to cancel Tuesday in order to be sensitive to whoever might get pounded by Hurricane Isaac. What do you think that is? What do you think that? Here's F. Chuck. If something organizers are concerned about, don't be surprised if Tuesday gets changed again, basically out of sensitivity. So the Republicans, you better think about canceling Tuesday of your convention because you don't want to be reveling it up and having a great old time in there while people are being destroyed in the Gulf. So on Saturday night, I'm telling people this is exactly where this is headed. And nobody, by the way, nobody's listening to me. They think I'm full of it. Hey, what are you drinking? Nothing. I'm trying to warn you what's coming. Oh, come on, Rush. And they started emailing me about, well, let's have some funny news. Well, okay, then let's call it Hurricane Hussein. Anyway, I got to take a break. We're way long. We'll be right back. Don't go away.